Hi, I'm Barney, singer from Napalm Death, and happily I'm speaking to you from Tokyo in an interview with Metalship. Yeah, but see, that's a good thing as well though, because politics, let me tell you, I mean, you know, politics a lot of times is a fucking nonsense. You know, what it does, it makes barriers between people and that's the thing that stands in the way of people coming together. You know, the best solution, you know, for this earth that we live on is for people to forget their differences and be together. You know, flags, territorial disputes in the long run doesn't mean anything. It's meaningless, you know, because it's another way to grab power, you know, and it's been so disastrous for the world so far up to this point. You know, I wonder when will be the point when people go, you know, our flag, and you know this, you know that, doesn't matter. It's meaningless. People are people. We're all people, you know, and we all deserve to live with dignity and not be bullied by other people. You know, in time this may change because, you know, throughout the history of the world we haven't always had this democratic, you know, sort of way of doing things. It's been different. We may move away from that because, as you've seen in the last couple of years, people have finally got sick and tired of the way things work and they've turned against it. You know, the Occupy stuff on the streets. Whether I'm not sure whether Japan had an Occupy. I'm sure it probably did. It did. So people there comes a point where people are like, no, all these people have the power, and then these massive percentage of people don't. That's wrong. Has to be, you know. So things have to change. Things may change at some point, you know, and then politics becomes meaningless. You know? No politics but with an understanding of humanity based upon humanitarian principles, because without we still have to minimise conflict between people. There has to be some form of coming together. Otherwise, you might not have a political system, but you're going to have violence, people against people still. So what would be the use in that also, you know? So yeah, I don't have all the answers, you know, and I know it's not as easy as our conversation over this table, but the point is that the power balance has shifted far too much in favour of the elite, a few, and that can't be right. Surely it cannot be right, you know. 10, 11 times now, probably. I can't remember. I mean, I've been personally tons of times on holiday and stuff. I come here a lot, actually. Yeah, last time I was here on holiday was actually, funny enough, was just after the tsunami, you know, which was interesting to say the least. Like July last year, so like 3-4 months after the tsunami, you know. I came to Tokyo and Osaka and travelled around, but I also went north to the zones, you know, which were inaccessible at the time. Some of them, the rail systems were knocked out. I had to get like a private bus, car, local, friendly local person. Yeah, it was crazy, you know, intense. Well, for the limited time that I was there, I just couldn't do anything. I just observed for myself. Without the TV or internet, I just observed for myself. And yeah, I mean, seeing it on TV or the internet was intense enough, but seeing it for myself, I was speechless. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So I don't know if you know, but we're doing some free benefit, well, some benefit shows in the north. 3 shows. Yeah, we're doing Ishinomaki.
Yeah.
I can't remember the other 2 places actually. Yeah, we're doing 3 shows up north to raise money for the people still in shelters, you know, because there's people who have been forgotten, you know, almost, and so we're going to raise some money for those. What we can do, the small part that we can do, will be for the most deserving people of that whole scenario, you know. So strict vegetarian, strict vegan, vegetarian, and everybody says, oh, Japan, it's all fish and seafood and this. But I got a book written by a vegetarian of Japan, and there's actually some of the best vegetarian restaurants in the world in Japan. I know because I went to them, you know. So the food can be incredible there. And I just think it's a beautiful country. You know, when people, sometimes casual tourists that come to Japan, yeah, I went to Tokyo, I saw all the lights and this and that, and I'm like, where else did you go? Well, nowhere. Come on, you know, like the countryside outside, you know, once you get out into rural Japan, is fantastic, you know, it really is. And so, yeah, I've travelled kind of all over. Didn't get as far as Nagasaki, which is where I wanted to go last time, but when I come next, I'm going to go that far over. Yeah. And of course we've been to Sapporo as well, to the northern islands as well. I mean, yeah, there is a couple of things that I don't like about Japan. You know, the fact that if you really are suffering in Japan, if you're not rich, and because of course there's a large percentage of the population that aren't rich, you know, even though it might be a rich country, I get the sense that if you don't have the you know, materials or resources, you're kind of left. There's no social system there. There's no welfare system. And I don't agree with that. I think you should always look after, if we're part of a human world, we should be humane and look after people that don't have what the rich have, you know. I think we should look after people, you know. So that's for one thing, really. I mean, I have a problem also with with the whaling and stuff, you know. That's always a problem for me, you know. I think that's a real problem, you know. It's really has an effect on the oceans, and I think it's pretty cruel, you know. And I know the Japanese government is in dispute about such things, you know. But and I think labelling them as a terrorist organisation is not accurate and not true, you know. You know, they are environmental objectors. They have no wish to harm anybody, and what they do is legitimate protest tactics, you know. Same as I agree with Greenpeace, the same thing, you know. I know Greenpeace and Sea Shepherds argue amongst themselves, and I think that's pretty pointless, you know. But me personally, as a person, I have no wish to harm anyone, and I do not agree with tactics that would hurt other people, you know. But I think protest to stop people from doing certain things is legitimate, you know. It's not just Japan though. Let's just not single Japan out. It's other countries around the world too. That's the point, you know. It's not a question of nationalism or being, again, we're back to that, or being against one country. That's not the case. But the large mammals that are in the sea, and whales are a mammal, don't forget, if you remove those from the ocean, and what they're doing, they're taking so many from the ocean that it's going to affect the whole balance of the ocean, you know. And when people talk about environmental protection, they tend to focus on the land, but the sea is in a real danger at the moment, you know. It's not just the large mammals, it's the coral reefs, it's the fish themselves. They're being overfished. For one thing, the seas are being overfished, you know. It's everything. The balance is starting to be lost, and that has to be avoided at all costs. And the large mammals that are in the sea, whales, are being taken in such numbers. It's a real problem. It's really dangerous.